Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Is it? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. I know it's a little bit late for some of you, but if there's anyone of my members here, welcome members. I wanted to jump on today to give you guys a couple astral projection techniques. I know a lot of you are able to get to the sleep paralysis state or to the vibrational state, and so now I want to give you some techniques that you can actually use once you've reached sleep paralysis or the vibrations. I've gotten a lot of emails and messages about people that have finally got to the vibrational state. They're about to astral project, but they're not quite sure what to do once they've actually reached sleep paralysis. So I want to give you guys a couple of my favorite techniques that I use. Of course, there's so many that we can talk about, so we'll definitely get into more of the techniques in the future, but I have 4 main techniques that I want to give you guys today that you can use to have an out-of-body experience. Before we get into the techniques, I'll just run over sleep paralysis really quickly and how to actually induce sleep paralysis, because sometimes it can get frustrating when trying to induce sleep paralysis. Sometimes we'll be laying there for a very long time, sometimes we won't feel anything at all, and sometimes we'll just fall asleep when trying to induce sleep paralysis. So I want to give you a very efficient way that I like to use a lot to induce sleep paralysis, and then we'll go ahead and get into the 4 exit techniques that I have for you guys. So if you have any questions, make sure to just leave them in the chat. I will read all of the comments, and if you have any questions or anything, definitely let me know. Hello Nitesh, how are you? How's it going? How are you today? Let's see what we have here. Okay, so I'm going to give you, there's tons of different ways to induce sleep paralysis, but I'm going to kind of break it down to you the best times to try to induce sleep paralysis and how we should go about inducing sleep paralysis for the vibrational state. I don't want you guys to have to wake up in the middle of the night to practice these things, because you really don't have to disrupt your sleep cycle to have these types of experiences. That is definitely one way to have these experiences. You can wake up during your REM sleep, or you can actually try this after a full night's rest, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, because I know some of you have work, some of you have a hard time falling back to sleep, and so I want to give you guys a way that works for me and then go ahead and give you guys some techniques. Oh good, I'm so glad to hear that. Well, welcome, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Hey Erin, how's it going? So the easiest way to induce sleep paralysis is to learn your sleep cycle. It is very important to know when you're actually going into REM sleep. That way you can target your REM to induce an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream, but we're going to be focused on astral projection today and the easiest way to go about having an out-of-body experience. So you go into REM sleep every 90 minutes of sleep. But your first REM stages, which is your dreaming sleep, which is when you go into sleep paralysis and can have these experiences, it's very short. During the first REM cycle, so after about an hour and a half into your sleep, your REM is maybe a couple minutes. So you don't want to try to wake up during the early hours of your sleep. If you are going to wake up at all to try to induce sleep paralysis, I definitely recommend setting your alarm for 4.5 hours is the first option, or 6 hours. But you want to take into account the time it takes you to fall asleep. So say you want to wake up after the 4.5 hour mark to hit your 4.5 hour REM cycle. If it takes you 30 minutes to fall asleep, you're going to set your alarm for 5 hours to include that 30-minute bracket that it takes you to fall asleep. So this is why you really want to be able to get to know your sleep, how you fall asleep, if you have a hard time falling asleep, if you fall asleep quickly. It takes me maybe on average 10 to 15 minutes to fall asleep some nights, and so when I am setting my alarm for an out-of-body experience technique, if I'm wanting to wake up in the middle of the night, I will want to take into account that 15 minutes it takes me to fall asleep. So if I want to wake up at the 6-hour mark, which is my longest REM cycle, I want to set my alarm for 6 hours and 15 minutes because it takes me about 15 minutes to fall asleep. That way you don't miss your REM cycle, you don't wake up before your REM, you don't wake up after, but you wake up during your REM. Now it is important to keep a dream journal as well, because this is going to help you know when you're going into REM, because you're going to wake up right out of a dream. So even though this isn't lucid dreaming based today, you still want to make sure you have a dream journal, because this also helps your recall over overall as well. Even in waking life, it will help you remember things easier throughout the day. And plus, it's a lot easier to figure out if you're in REM or not based on if you just woke up out of a dream. If you're remembering dreams consistently, that means you're going into REM sleep consistently, and it will be a lot easier for you to induce an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream at will. So if any of you do not have a dream journal, I would definitely recommend getting one. They're super easy to use, and it can help increase your dream recall in about a week, which is super, super awesome. Even if you've never remembered a dream before, like your entire life, or you haven't remembered dreams since you were little, you can train yourself to start remembering your dreams every single night, and that takes about 5 to 7 days. So it happens super, super quick. That way, during your techniques, when you wake up, you're like, oh, I was just in REM sleep because I was just barely dreaming. So that tells you can try a technique right then and there. Oh, good. Yes, I definitely recommend keeping your dream journal by your bed, because if you wake up to go get your dream journal, your conscious mind is going to open and your subconscious mind is going to close, which means you're going to forget the dream content that you just had. Some of us will be like, oh, that was the most vivid dream ever. I'll for sure remember it. But then we wait to write it down and then we don't remember it at all. It's because dreams happen in our subconscious mind. And when we wake up and stimulate our brain too much, that activates our conscious mind and closes our subconscious mind. So make sure to stay really relaxed in the morning, and before you put your feet on the floor, just close your eyes for a couple minutes and ask yourself, what did I dream about? Do I remember anything from sleep? Do I remember where I was? Do I remember who I was with, what I was experiencing? And just try to recall any piece of dream that you can and write it in your dream journal. But don't worry, when you're first starting this dream journal practice, you're probably not going to have a couple, dreams for a couple nights. And that's totally fine. You can still build your dream recall. And what you're going to want to do in that case is write down anything that happened during sleep. Did you wake up to roll over in bed? Did you wake up to go to the bathroom? Did you have a random song that got stuck in your head in the middle of the night? Anything that you remember that happened during your sleep cycle, you want to write down in your dream journal. This tells your brain, oh, it's a priority to remember what happened during sleep. Okay, I'm going to start saving the memories of what happened during sleep in the subconscious so we can recall them in the morning. So even if you're starting out your dream journal practice and you're not remembering dreams quite yet, make sure to use your dream journal every single day. I talk to a lot of people that say that they don't write their dreams down or they don't try because they didn't remember any dreams. And I know it seems counterintuitive, but you do need to practice writing in your dream journal every single day, even if you don't have dreams right away, because that's going to help you build dream recall naturally, and it happens really, really fast. Some people will remember their dreams naturally, others it is a skill to build, but it happens really, really quickly, and this is going to set you up for success when you're practicing inducing lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences. I still remember some of the dreams when I was a kid. I've only had one OBA and want another so bad. Of course, yeah, I am so happy to help and get on here to talk to you guys. And if you always remember your dreams, this practice is going to be so much easier for you anyway. So this is awesome. Just make sure to write those down every day, and then you're set up. And if you've already had one out-of-body experience, your brain is already wired to have those experiences because it already knows how. We've seen it that it knows how, So we just have to learn how to recreate these experiences consistently. And yeah, some of us will have dreams that we remember from way long ago when we were a kid. I definitely have some dreams that are etched in my brain from when I was a kid, and we can learn to have that powerful of dream recall for all of our dreams. If we write down our dreams every single night, you'll notice, try this, go back in your dream journal, read through your past dreams. You'll be able to recall them just like they were yesterday because you basically saved that dream in your subconscious mind by writing it down. Now, anytime you go through and read it, you can be like, oh yeah, I remember that dream, then this happened, and that's how we build our recall. That's how we can remember every single dream we've ever had. And it's cool to write your dreams down because then you basically create a dream library. I have 6 or 7 dream journals over there with all the different years on them, like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's like a dream library, and it shows me how my consciousness changed over time and the content within my subconscious. So it's really handy to write your dreams down. So that is the first thing that I'd recommend, is practicing dream recall at night. So say tonight I'll remember my dreams, I have excellent dream recall, and say that as you fall asleep. Then as soon as you wake up, before you put your feet on the floor, ask yourself what you dreamt of, if you remember anything at all, and just probe yourself with questions, and then write down anything you can remember. And keep in mind, if you don't remember anything at all, you don't even remember waking up during that night or anything, you can just write, no recall, or I didn't remember any dreams tonight. And that basically shows your brain it is a priority to remember your dreams, and it's going to be easier and easier and easier to remember your dreams as time goes on. I always remember my dreams, but many times my mind doesn't identify them or identify the dream. Yeah, it does take practice, but you'll notice with consistent work, it gets so much easier, and you'll start to remember dreams from every single dream period, which is really, really cool. So the best thing that I can recommend to you guys is to practice dream journaling every single day. Even if you go a few nights without remembering anything at all, I promise you, you will start to remember long, vivid dreams, and you'll be able to influence the dreams that you have, lucid or not. And I actually have a video that's coming out tomorrow telling you guys how you can actually choose what dreams you want to have and how we can actually choose the dreams that we dream of at night without them being lucid. So that's the video that's going to be coming out tomorrow. And you can basically use affirmations as you're falling asleep to affirm that you will remember your dreams. And when you wake up, probe your brain. And that's all you need to know about dream recall. It is really, really simple. And so just keep in mind, it's so much easier to induce out-of-body experiences and to figure out what state of sleep you're in or what sleep stage you're in, because we'll remember our dreams. If we just came out of a dream, keep in mind, that means that you are in REM sleep, which means your body was just in sleep paralysis, which means you can carry a little bit of awareness into sleep paralysis and enter that state consciously. Then you can have a lucid dream at that point, or you can use it to have an out-of-body experience, or you can even use it to get to sleep quicker. Think about it. If we can induce sleep paralysis at will, we can trick our body into falling asleep, and instead of doing an exit technique or a lucid dream technique once we're in sleep paralysis, we allow our body to carry us into sleep. So inducing sleep paralysis is not just used for inducing lucid dreams or out-of-body experiences, but we can also use it to regulate our sleep cycle and to cure insomnia, because we're learning to basically train our brain when to fall asleep, and we are basically gaining control over that process, if that makes sense. You really think out-of-body experience is a thing that you really go off in some astral plane or something? We have evidence for lucid dreaming, but where is the evidence for OBE and astral projection? Great question. The CIA just released a document that confirmed astral projection and remote viewing, because the government has actually been using out-of-body experiences for a very, very long time, at least since the 70s. Now, we don't have a lot of information on out-of-body experiences yet, but what we do know is that it is a different state of consciousness than a lucid dream. We have studied the brain waves happening within a lucid dream and the brain waves that occur during an out-of-body experience. We don't know what these brain waves are that are happening during an out-of-body experience, but we do know that they are different brain waves than the lucid dream, so we definitely know that it is a different state of consciousness. If you do want to look more into the phenomena of out-of-body experiences, one book I would definitely recommend is Journeys Out of the Body by Robert Monroe. It basically documents his experiences from the 20s and 30s, and he didn't know what he was experiencing, and so he just started to mess with it, and he's actually the one who funded the Monroe Institute, so he actually created a whole out-of-body experience institute from his experiences, and he basically mastered it. He was able to enter these states at will, so that's definitely someone I'd recommend looking into if you feel like it, but it is definitely a real state. I can tell you that with experiencing, lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences, they are definitely two different states for sure, and there are ways that we can verify these experiences as we are in them through conscious awareness practices a little farther than reality checks. We can also use those to verify the out-of-body experience state as well. And I've also read lots of stories of people being able to verify different things in their out-of-body experiences, and I've been able to do that as well. Just with license plates, I have left my body and went on the street and saw a couple license plates. I would remember the license plates in my head. There was one specific time I did this. There was 2 license plates. I memorized the license plates and kept repeating them in my head over and over and over. When I got back to body, I went down the street in my pajamas. It was like 3 in the morning to check the license plate. One of the license plates was completely correct. The other license plate had 1 or 2 letters off. So it shows that that state of reality really is like tuning into another dimensional frequency that is close to this reality. The dreaming realm is more in our subconscious mind, and the dream has a very hard time at detailed pattern recognition and replicating what it just saw. So that's why we check our hands twice in our dreams to see if we're dreaming, because it will never stay the same. In an out-of-body experience, your environment around you will most likely stay the same. There will be a couple differences, maybe the hue, maybe the energy, maybe some of the colors, but that's because you're in a different frequency. You're not in such a dense frequency like this 3D reality. So there's going to be some different occurrences, but you will be able to verify kind of which state you're in based off that. I'm watching from the top of... Oh, awesome, Give, of course, absolutely. Sorry I'm a little late. The question of your wake time is, what am I doing before this? Yeah, exactly. You basically recall your dream backwards. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I do is like, what was I doing 10 minutes ago or something, you know? And if you get in the habit of asking yourself those questions during the day, eventually in your dream, you're gonna be like, well, I was just getting ready for bed. So this must mean it's a dream. And all it is creating conscious awareness around what's happening. A lot of us live on autopilot, and we always assume that we're awake. So in our dreams, we always assume that we're awake. So if there's a habit that we want to change in our dreaming self, we need to be able to implement that habit in the waking state. So if I'm just like not paying attention at all in my dreams and it's really annoying me, I need to pay more attention when I'm awake and train my brain to pay more attention, train my brain to be more conscious awareness. And I'll carry that conscious awareness into the dream state. So you see, our habits in the waking state and the dream state kind of go together simultaneously. Can you do a Q&A every week? I would actually love to. I would love some questions that you guys have. You can always leave them in here or in the comments of this video. I'll have to figure out, maybe I'll create a community post for questions and you can all just post them on there and I'll take those and we can answer them in a live. I can answer some in a video. So I will create that community post, and then you guys can all put your questions there. And then any questions I see on here as well, I'll go ahead and fit those in as well. How can I know what is REM sleep? So REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement sleep, and this happens every 90 minutes of your sleep cycle, and this is just your dreaming sleep. So we go into dreaming sleep every 90 minutes, and our REM sleep gets longer and longer. So if you're practicing writing your dreams down and practicing dream recall, you're going to be able to remember your dreams, and once you wake up directly out of a dream, you know that you were just in dreaming sleep, which means that you were just in sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is nothing scary. It just means that your body paralyzed itself during your dreaming time, so you don't physically act out your dreams and punch a wall or something. It's just a natural mechanism that the body does during sleep, and we can teach ourselves to not only induce it, but to stay conscious through it and use it for out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams. I had a dream about having a lucid dream last night. That has happened to me. I've had dreams where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down and induce a lucid dream, and I dreamt that I was lucid, but I wasn't actually lucid. It's a very weird thing to try to explain, but I definitely know what you mean there. Okay, so now that we've got the dream journaling out of the way and dream recall, now we want to focus on the correct time that we induce an out-of-body experience. So keep in mind, you can wake up after 4.5 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep, but you also want to take into account the time that it takes you to fall asleep if you set your alarm. Again, if it takes you 30 minutes to fall asleep and you want to wake up at your 6-hour REM, set your alarm for 6 hours, 30 minutes, if that makes sense. So you can either do that, or one of my favorite methods is to get almost a full night's rest. So sometimes I will sleep the entire night through. Like, I will not wake myself up at all for the out-of-body experience technique. I try it in the morning. Now, why I try it in the morning is because, number one, I'm not going to fall asleep during my technique because I just had a full night's rest, so I'm more likely to be able to carry that conscious awareness into sleep. And number two, I'm fully rested. I have a lot of energy that I can use to focus on getting out of body. If we're too tired and we don't have a lot of energy, sometimes it can be hard to will ourselves out of our body because sometimes we're so like fatigued since we just woke up from sleep, if that makes sense. So it gives me a little bit more control over the experiences. And the third one is you still make sure that you're still relaxed. Like, I do it maybe like 30 minutes to an hour at most after I wake up from basically a full night's rest. So I'll wake up, Maybe I'll get some hot tea. I won't eat anything. I will do very, very calming activities for about 30 to 60 minutes after a full night's rest. So maybe I'll read, maybe I'll journal, maybe I'll meditate, you know, get my tea and just kind of relax. Maybe I'm thinking about out-of-body experiences. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on my bed and I'm going to lay down. You don't want to have really heavy blankets on. You want to make sure you're comfortable. You don't want to be too hot. You don't want to be too cold. You don't want your room to be too bright. If you don't have really dark blinds, then you can just put a sleeping mask on. You just want your brain to think that it's dark, because once all your mind sees is darkness, you know, your eyes just see darkness, it's going to start creating melatonin, which is going to drift you back into a light sleep, which is going to relax your body so it's easier to get out of body, and it's going to help you get into the state faster. So you want to lay on your back. You basically want to lay in the position that you don't normally sleep in, but I found it is easiest on my back. I have induced sleep paralysis on my side and even my stomach, but it is much more reliable to do on my back. I usually don't sleep on my back, but I can dip into a light sleep on my back, and that's kind of what you want to do, because you want to hover between awake and asleep. That is the perfect state to be in to induce an out-of-body experience, so definitely do what works for you. But I will have maybe a light blanket on if I have a blanket on. I won't have a big pillow. That seems to really like kink my neck after a while, so I will either not have a pillow at all, or I have kind of like a flat Tempur-Pedic pillow, if that makes sense, and I use that for my out-of-body experiences, or like my vibrational state induction, or like any of the stuff that I do. I have my arms spread out, my legs spread out. You want to take in 3 deep breaths, because this completely relaxes the body. This sends oxygen to the brain, into the blood, and it's going to help you relax deeper into this state and to relax the mind. You'll notice you won't have so many thoughts going through your mind once you take these deep breaths. So don't skip out on these deep breaths. I do them every single time. And with every exhale, you want to feel yourself sinking into the bed and completely relax. I know a lot of people that try too hard to have an out-of-body experience. You really want to just see it as a time to relax. So I know a lot of people will be like, oh, I tried so hard, like I tried to get out of body. Just relax. Don't even think about the out-of-body experience. Just think about how amazing it is that you have this time to practice, to lay on your bed, to get really comfortable, and just to relax. And whatever happens, happens. That's part of the adventure, but you're so happy you just get to relax. How comfortable is the bed or the surface underneath you? How warm is it? How cold is it? Really become aware of your body. And this is going to send you into almost a self-hypnosis. And you're basically wanting to hold still. Of course, you don't want to be moving around, itching, because now we're going through the sleep paralysis process. We want to make sure that we can carry our body into a light sleep. And if you get the rollover signal, which is your body checking if you're awake, so it will send you itches, it will give you urges to move or roll over, that's just your body saying, hey, are you awake, or should we induce sleep paralysis? If you respond and itch or move or roll over during the rollover signal, it's going to say, okay, you're awake, we won't induce sleep paralysis, or we won't produce the chemicals that induce sleep paralysis. But if you want to have sleep paralysis and you get the rollover signal, it is very important to not respond, because we want to trick our body into thinking that we are asleep. So you don't want to respond. After about 3 to 5 minutes, your body's going to be like, okay, she didn't respond to the rollover signal, so she's probably asleep. Let's go ahead and start the chemicals that induce sleep paralysis so we can start producing dreams. Now you're going to notice some interesting things happen at this point. You're going to feel tingling starting at your feet or on your fingers, and you're going to feel it moving all over your body. You might start to see hypnagogic imagery and colors floating around under your eyes. You might start to feel sensations. You might start to get a wave of cold chills. When you fall into sleep, your temperature slightly drops, and that's my specific signal that I'm about to go into sleep paralysis. I literally, I feel the tingling, but I get like a wave of cold chills, like literally a wave of cold chills. And I know, okay, I'm really close to sleep paralysis. So you're going to be able to discover phases for your practice individually. Of course, they're pretty close to the same for everybody, but for example, me, I start with tingling on my toes and my hands, and then my legs start to get really, really heavy, and then I get a wave of cold chills, and then the visuals start to get really intense. It's like there's steps, so I can see where I'm at and how long it's going to take me to induce an out-of-body experience, or at the least, sleep paralysis or the vibrational state. So this is why it's really important to mess around. You don't want to always get it on the first try, because then you won't know what works and what doesn't work for you specifically. So it's really good to be able to test this out and try different things, wake up at different times. That way you can figure out what works best for you and what the best method is for you. But those are kind of the steps that I personally go through when inducing sleep paralysis. After this, and you're going to either dip in and out of sleep, or the visuals are starting, they're going to be getting pretty real at this point. You're going to feel a lot of heaviness on your chest. Just relax into it. Your body's doing what it naturally does 5 to 6 times a night, like 4 to 6 times a night. So just let this process happen. We don't need as much air when we're going to sleep. We don't need as much oxygen, and so our diaphragm doesn't take as much oxygen in, and our lungs don't take in as much oxygen. We just need to relax in it and let the body do what it normally does without interfering, because if we interfere, that's creating resistance, and that's going to wake us up out of the experience. So completely let go, energetically let go at this point. Now, eventually you're going to feel sleep paralysis kick in. It might just kick in naturally. You might dip into a dream, and then you might come out and you're in sleep paralysis. You'll know when you're in sleep paralysis. You'll absolutely know when you're in sleep paralysis. So I have 4 techniques that I want to share with you. Definitely try out these Astral Projection Exit Techniques. Again, there's lots more, but we'll go over these 4, and then we'll go from there. So, sorry if that was loud. I just hit my mic. Okay, now you've probably heard of these techniques because we've talked about them in the past, some of them. But we're gonna go into them. So, last night I had a lucid dream for a few. Really? That's awesome, Nitesh. Awesome. Congrats. How long on average does it take to get to the beginnings of sleep paralysis? So it really depends on how tired you are and what stage of sleep you are in and how relaxed you are. It's really up to you, but it really does matter on when you wake up as well. This is why it's really important to make sure that you're relaxed enough after full nights of sleep that you can carry into light dreaming sleep and induce sleep paralysis. Or it's important to make sure that your alarm clock was set at the right time and for the right, your longest REM stage. That way you have the most time to induce the out-of-body experience. But for sleep paralysis specifically, for me, it usually takes me sometimes over an hour. It's taken me from even like 10 minutes before, like an hour to an hour and a half. So it really depends on how relaxed you can make your body, how much you can let go, if you're in the right stage of sleep, and if you're really just relaxing and not moving and holding any tension. We really have to let go as much tension as we can. Sometimes I'll do like some stretches and stuff before I go in sleep paralysis or induce sleep paralysis, because you can get very tense, and if we're very tense or we're not comfortable, it's going to be really hard to tell our body we're asleep, because it's going to know that we're not asleep. You smoke weed, I feel like it makes it harder for me to do anything spiritual, just makes me lazy. So yeah, you kind of have to create a balance with cannabis and the practice. So basically what I would do is I would have like my time to like smoke and like chill, whatever, and then I would have a time dedicated to lucid dream practice. So you can actually take advantage of what's called REM rebound. So if you've been smoking and you haven't remembered any dreams, basically what's happening there is cannabis is suppressing your REM dreaming sleep. So it's making it so you go into a deep sleep and you're not going into your light dream sleep. Since it's kind of suppressant and it really relaxes our body and puts us to sleep, we're carried into deep sleep instead of being able to hover in light sleep. But what you can do is take a break for a few days to a week or even a month, depending on what you want to do, and you'll experience what's called REM rebound, which means all of the REM dreaming sleep that you were missing out on when taking that substance, whether it's drinking alcohol, a certain medication, smoking cannabis, you're going to get it all back at once within the next couple days. That's why people say that, oh, I stopped smoking cannabis for a few days and my dreams have been crazy. They've been so vivid. And it's because they just got back all of the REM dreaming sleep that they missed out on and that they were suppressing when they were using that substance, if that makes sense. So you can still smoke and you know, do your dream practice, but they don't go hand in hand. So you're going to basically have to switch off between the two, if that makes sense. That way you can kind of create a nice relationship for both of them. So the first technique, once you're in sleep paralysis, this is called the target technique. So you're basically going to want to choose a specific target in your house that you can use to get out of body. So pretty much you want to study a specific area of your house. I have my art table over there and like my altar area. I have like a few different altars in my house, but this is where all my notes are. This is where my art table is. There's a tie-dye tapestry cloth thing on my table. You want to basically take in all of the information about the area that you're going to use for your target. You want to really become familiar with the energy of being in that area, because what you're going to do is you're going to actually imagine this target as you're in sleep paralysis, and you're basically going to will yourself there through emotion and visualization alone. So you basically are going to pretend like you're actually in that area when you're in sleep paralysis, and it's going to become so real to your brain, because again, your brain can't tell the difference between dreams, imagination, or waking reality. So if you can make an imagination as real as waking life, and you can really tune into what it looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like to be there, tune into the textures in that area, if you can create all of that in your visualization, then you'll be able to literally transfer your consciousness there, and it literally feels like you woke up, your eyes open, and you're in that area. It's crazy. There's tons of ways to have an out-of-body experience, and I usually use like the roll-out method or something. I tend to just like slip out of my body, like literally I'll just like roll out, but there are different ways to induce one as well, and the target is a really good technique. It might not happen the first time because you might need to get really aware with the area. So what I would recommend doing with this technique is, as you're falling asleep, visualize your target, whether it's an area with a couple objects that you want to study, or it's an actual like corner in your house or something. Go to that area, feel things in that area, smell that area, what's in that area, what are the textures, close your eyes. Can you feel the energy of like being in that area? Like you can feel the individuality of that area. You want to become very familiar with that so you can create the visualization of being there and the sensation of being there in your sleep paralysis experience. Now, if you do this as you fall asleep as well, sometime you might just wake up and actually be in that area. So it's very good to take this target seriously and really study it to the best of your abilities, and then you can use it in your sleep paralysis experience to induce an out-of-body experience. The second technique is called the hammock technique. So creating movement is really helpful in the vibrational state as well, because it's telling your body that you're somewhere that you're actually not. Basically, how we have out-of-body experiences is being able to disassociate with our physical body. This is why people tend to have out-of-body experiences during float tanks or sensory deprivation tanks, because they cannot feel their body, they cannot hear anything, they cannot see anything. They are floating in Epsom salt, 900 pounds of Epsom salt in warm water that is the temperature of their body. They are literally being deprived of their senses, which is, the brain starts to get confused. And so if you start to imagine being somewhere else, you're basically tricking your brain into thinking that's actually where you are. That's where your physical body actually is, and then you can literally transfer your awareness in that area, and it will literally look like you're looking through a camera lens, like you were literally in another area. It is crazy when this happens. So keep that in mind. When you disassociate from your body, when you're in bed and you start to go numb and you start to not be able to feel your surroundings, your brain is disconnecting from your physical senses. Now you can actually influence the brain to think that it's somewhere else. That's how this target technique works, and that's how this hammock technique works. If you imagine that you're on a hammock in your sleep paralysis experience and you really try to imagine what it feels like to swing back and forth, eventually you're going to create such a real experience for your brain that your brain actually thinks you're swinging back and forth, and you're actually going to feel your physical body swinging back and forth, and you're going to want to open your eyes to make sure that you're not actually on a hammock somehow. How did I get here? It really does feel that real. So that's basically what you want to do. You want to physically induce sensations that your physical body isn't actually experiencing, but you're playing in your mind to make it seem real, if that makes sense. So that's how the hammock technique works. You're basically moving your energy body. What is energy? It is our consciousness. It is our awareness. So if we're moving our energy, with our awareness, we're actually moving our energy body. And you'll notice that this almost like loosens up your energy body. And sometimes, like, if you're swinging on the hammock in your sleep paralysis experience, it might like will you out of body and you might like fly out. I remember hearing a story about a monk that was imagining swinging on a hammock when he was in sleep paralysis to have an out-of-body experience, and then he imagined like the hammock doing like full circles, and then he like flew out of body. So as you can tell, this kind of like livens up the energy body and helps it easier to separate, because we're creating that inner movement. It's that energetic movement that makes that technique work. The next technique is called the energy stretching technique, or at least I call it the energy stretching technique, and it is basically the same fundamentals of the hammock technique. So you're basically using movement to induce a physical sensation that feels like movement, and that's how we can get out of our body as well. So with the energy stretching technique, when you're in sleep paralysis, you're just going to be, don't control your breath, but it's going to be your natural breath flow, in, out, in, out. You'll notice it's going to be very light breaths. You're going to want to imagine your energy moving every single time you inhale, and your body starts to stretch. Like, you want to imagine your legs and your arms stretching farther than where your actual body is. And again, this is inducing an inner movement, which will feel eventually like a physical movement, and that's how you make that energy body come to life, and you can induce an out-of-body experience that way. So you're going to basically imagine that your arms are getting so long as you're laying down, they're touching both sides of the walls, maybe they're going through the walls. Your head, if there's like a wall behind you, you're just going to imagine like maybe your head stretching through the wall. I know it sounds so silly, but it really does work. Your legs are stretching, like you're just stretching in all directions. You're basically like an elastic. That's what you're going to imagine. And then you're actually going to start to feel this movement. Remember, whatever we consistently create in our mind, like through imagination and sensation, visualization, we can create that physical experience. So you're basically just going to imagine stretching your limbs out in every direction, and then you're going to actually be able to feel your energy body, and that's how you can kind of liven up your energy body so you can actually roll out or get out of your body. The last technique is energy moving technique, so it's kind of what we just talked about. You're basically going to move your energy with your breath. So in, out. With each breath, you're imagining all of your energy coming up, pushing it down. You can even imagine like an energy ball coming up to your head, pushing it down, and you're going to actually try to feel that energy moving with your breath. And with enough practice, and if you can create a very real experience for your brain, you're going to notice that you actually feel like you're physically moving now, and you can will yourself out of body that way. Once you're out of body, you have to basically use the same principles that we've talked about with lucid dreaming. So you need to stabilize the experience. You need to be very focused, laser focused in an out-of-body experience, because one thought of your physical body and you will snap back to your body. If you get scared, if you get too excited, any physical emotion or sensation can snap you back to your body. So you really want to be mindful of that when you get out of body, and stay very, very, very focused on your experience. And you're going to use your mind to move around the experience. Like, you're going to will yourself to the door or will yourself through the door in your out-of-body experience. You don't need to talk. You don't even really need to try to move around. You can kind of just like will yourself around by thought, basically. As we've talked about, it's a thought responsive state. So whatever you're thinking of, it's going to respond to your thoughts. That's why you want to practice in a lucid dream first. That way you can gain control over your thoughts, and you don't create something scary on accident that's just an illusion. But if you can create anything with your mind, it's probably good to learn how to control your mind and to use your mind efficiently, so we can actually use our mind for our benefit in these experiences. So I hope those helped, and then after, just make sure to stabilize your experience once you're out there. It will feel like walking for the first time during your first out-of-body experience. It might be hard to control, you might feel like you're stumbling everywhere, and that's okay. You're learning a new skill, you're learning to leave your physical body. It is something pretty cool that isn't just average or normal, so be patient with yourself and have fun with it. That's the most important thing, is to have fun with this experience. And the more fun you have, and the more like lighthearted and playful it is, you'll have more experiences. If you take it too seriously, that affects your energy. Keep that in mind. You're projecting with your energy body, so how can you take care of your energy? Maybe go outside on a walk. Maybe meditate. Maybe do some yoga. Maybe do some breath work. All my homies that came to do some breath work with us, you know how powerful that is. Do these things to feed your energy. That's why this is a self-care practice. This isn't just about having out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams. Like, lucid dreaming teaches us to have a healthy sleep cycle, to really pay attention and be aware during the day. Out-of-body experiences helps us to take care of our energy and to practice self-love and to really take care of how we act throughout the day and what we do for ourselves. So these are all practices that really can aid us in multiple ways than just the actual experience itself. So really just have fun and experiment. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope this helped you. And keep in mind, tomorrow we will have a new video, 4 easy ways to choose what you dream about, how to choose what you dream of at night. And it's not just a lucid dream. This is for our regular dream content as well. So stay tuned for that, if that is something that you guys are interested in. Hey Raphael, thanks so much for joining. I had an amazing lucid dream last night and I could control everything. Unfortunately, my alarm clock woke me up. Oh, I hate that, but congrats on being able to have like a fully lucid dream. That's so awesome. Those are literally the best kind. I love being just so conscious in such a vivid, colorful, crisp reality in the lucid dream. When you have full conscious awareness, it is so, so fun. One normal dream transfer to lucid dream. Oh, so Nitesh, you want to create all of your dreams into lucid dreams? Even if you lucid dream every single night, 90% of your dreams are going to be normal dreams, because think of how many different cycles we have. So we can train ourselves to spontaneously get lucid and induce lucid dreams, but it would be pretty much impossible to make every dream we ever had a lucid dream. But we can make a majority of the dreams that we have lucid or more conscious through these practices, but it would be very hard to make every single dream a lucid dream, but you can definitely make sure you at least have a lucid dream at night. And that sounds pretty awesome to me. Think about how much you'd be able to get done on your lucid dream list if you guys have a lucid dream to-do list. I definitely recommend creating one if you guys have it. If the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination, does that mean that they are the same thing? Very good question, and I definitely believe so. I believe that realities are just states of consciousness. Think about it. One person could be having the worst day at work just because they hate it there, they think it's horrible. One person could have the same exact job, and because they're in a different state of consciousness, they think I thought it was the best day, everything was beautiful. Like, 2 people can have the same experience, be experiencing the same thing, but have 2 different experiences, if that makes sense. So when it comes to what's real to the brain, it is really up to your perception and what you're actually able to tune into, if that makes sense. What we believe and what we internalize and what we're programmed really does create our experiences and our reality. And I don't believe that this reality is more real than the dream one, because what determines if something's real? Oh, we can touch it, we can smell it, we can taste it, we can see it, we can interact with it. Well, we can do that in the lucid dream and out-of-body experience state too. So really, these are just different states of consciousness that we have the ability to move back from simultaneously, if that makes sense. That's all that this is really just different states of consciousness. So no reality is more real than the other one. If anything, I feel those states are more real than this one, which is very hard to to truly embody if you've not had a lucid dream. Like, those experiences really do feel more real than this reality. A lot of the time it's more crisp and vivid and clear. You see colors that you haven't even seen before in this reality. How is that possible? If this is real, how is there more over there than there is that we've created here, you know? So it's really interesting. I have to go, but thank you for some great information. You're so welcome. I hope you have a great night. Our senses can fool us. Absolutely. That's why we have to build the conscious awareness around it, and then we'll be able to tell if our senses are really fooling us. The most conscious and amazing lucid dreams I had was a few weeks ago when I had a nicotine patch on and took some glantamine. I think I had at least that Oh, 6 that night? Wow, that is crazy. I actually have some galantamine here. I was actually talking to a client and they wanted to see all of the dream supplements that I had, so I went out and I brought tons back, so I have tons of different supplements here. I am going to be reviewing a supplement. A Lucid Dream supplement company got in touch with me and they want me to review their product for 30 days. So that will be coming up. I will be doing like a full journey, like a 30-day journey of my experience using this lucid dreaming supplement, letting you guys know what I think. I'm going to be trying it different ways and kind of fill you in on my experiences with this specific supplement. So that will be coming soon, and I will be reviewing more as well. And if there's anything that you want me to review or you want me to try on this channel as far as like anything dreamy related, lucid dream related, anything that we talk about on this channel, definitely let me know, because I would love to test things out and see what works and what doesn't for this practice. Keep in mind, guys, this next Sunday, we're actually going to be starting a lucid dream course on the membership videos. So as you guys can see, there is a membership only video that comes out every Sunday on my channel, and we are going to be doing a lot of those videos as a lucid dream course now. I might even add more videos than just the Sunday video for members. But we're going to be implementing like a lucid dream out-of-body experience, like step-by-step course in the memberships. So if you are interested in joining that, make sure to check out the join button next to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on that content, and you have access to a private Discord server as well. That way you can stay up to date on when I'm going live. I update all my members in there. If I'm a little late, I let you guys know. And if you have any recommendations or questions or techniques, or just want to hang out with dreaming community, that is the place to be. So check join next to subscribe if you're interested. Of course, Raphael, I appreciate it. Damn, you're on supplements. I bet those dreams are gonna get wild. You know, I always have kind of some supplements on hand. I definitely don't recommend like relying on supplements, but sometimes I will take one if I've like been really on game with my lucid dream practice. I will take one just to make things a little bit more crisp and fun. If you guys have heard of lotus tea, that is a supplement you want to try. It's a natural herb that is known for inducing really incredible dreams, really profound dreams, crazy dreams, vivid dreams, lucid dreams, you name it, it induces it. As far as your dream content goes, it makes it really intense. I have lotus plumule tea, but blue lotus tea is like ideal for dreaming, but any lotus tea, you'll notice your dreams get really, really intense. And then yes, I do have, let's see, how many supplements do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 bottles of different supplements here that I want to talk to you guys about eventually. I just like to try new things, see what works, see what doesn't, and they're not all specifically for lucid dreams. I mean, some of them are like mental clarity and cognitive focus, but it's from the same company that creates some of the lucid dream supplements, so I'm like, hey. And they sent it to me to give it a try, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try and report back. So that will be coming soon. You hear the construction happening upstairs? Just kidding, it's not too bad today. Sometimes my neighbors are a little busy, but it's not too bad today. But anyways, that's what's going to be coming soon. And again, that lucid dream course is going to be super, super fun. If you guys are interested in learning how to induce lucid dreams or out-of-body experiences in 30 days or less, you guys know that I offer courses, online classes, and one-on-one mentorships. If you just want to have a strategy call with me, so a free like 30 to 40 minute call just so we can talk about your dreaming practice, where you're struggling, your goals with lucid dreaming, then we can create a plan on how to get you there, and then we can see if we are right to work with each other, if we kind of fit together. So if that is something that you're interested in and you want more information on that, you can send me an email at contact.thelucidmystic@gmail.com, or you can go into the description and just sign up for the mentorships or courses, and I will be getting in touch with you. I haven't been able to repeat it. I can't even sleep lately. Any sleep amazing tip? Or any sleep amazing tips? Any amazing sleep tips? I tried melatonin and that didn't help. Yeah, so I do have some sleep tips for you. I would not recommend trying melatonin because melatonin is actually not for sleep. It's to help regulate the sleep cycle, but it's not to put you to sleep. Serotonin actually turns into melatonin at night, and melatonin just relaxes the body and helps it get ready for bed. But if you have so much melatonin in such a condensed capsule, then that's too much melatonin for your body. It can actually throw your sleep cycle off. If you're wanting to take a natural supplement like melatonin, I would definitely recommend eating foods that have naturally occurring tryptophan in them, which the body actually just turns into melatonin, a substance that works just like melatonin. So it's called tryptophan. Now, some of these are almonds, almond milk, dark cherry juice or tart cherry juice, mushrooms. If you notice, have you ever heard like people get tired after eating turkey on Thanksgiving? That's because turkey has tryptophan in it. So that's basically what these natural foods will do. It will kind of make it feel like that. You'll get really tired and relaxed. So, oh, pistachios. Pistachios is a good one. If you eat a handful of pistachios before bed, it's literally just like taking a melatonin supplement or like a valerian root supplement. That's the other thing that I was going to recommend as well, is valerian root. You can get it in the tea. It doesn't taste that good, so maybe get it in a capsule, which is what I have. And also mugwort tea is very, very relaxing. Also, you want to make sure that you are conscious about what you're doing 2 hours before bed. If you're on your phone, if you're on your laptop, if you are around a lot of blue light or anything like that, then you are basically stimulating your mind and you are not going to be able to fall asleep. You're creating too much brain stimulation. So you want to make sure that you aren't taking in any harsh fake lights before bed, you know, like all of this, like my TV, my phone, my laptop. I want to be able to not be around very many lights as I'm going to bed. You can also take a walk at sunset. Since we naturally run on the circadian rhythm, if your brain and your eyes perceive the sun going down, you're naturally going to start to get more tired because that's a natural source of light, and your body naturally goes with the sun, so it's going to know, oh, it's time to wind down. I'd recommend exercising before you go to bed because this helps tire the body out, and you're not going to be so restless and tossing and turning before bed, if that makes sense. Another thing to correct sleep is the rollover signal. As you're going to sleep, don't toss and turn. I hear people all the time, oh, I couldn't sleep last night. I was just tossing and turning all night. Well, that's one reason you couldn't sleep, is because you kept giving into the rollover signal, telling your body that you're actually awake and resetting the clock to fall asleep over and over and over. So that is another thing as well. Also, don't eat right before bed. If you eat too much before bed, this could take all of your body's energy, and instead of putting you into a very relaxing sleep and giving you nice dreams, it's going to spend all the energy trying to digest the food, and you probably won't have much dream content either. So those are some things that I'd recommend for sleep. I actually have a video on this as well. I think it's called like 7 tips for insomnia or something. I will be making an updated one for you guys because that was actually the video I was going to make today or tomorrow, but I decided to go with another one. So I do have it written down, literally insomnia right here. So I guess this is a sign that I will have to do that. If you're on Xbox, well, make sure that before you go to sleep, you take at least an hour to just like chill. And maybe write. I don't know if you like to read a book. These are just the things I like to do. I paint before bed sometimes. Just ways that you can relax your body. What do you like to do to relax? You know, self-care wise, like what would be relaxing to you? I have an acupuncture mat I like to lay on before bed, maybe like take a hot bath, like just find what relaxes you and promotes calmness in you. And that's what you should do. Yeah, meditate before sleep. If you actually take in deep breaths as you're falling asleep, you're probably going to pass out, because I was meditating in my room the other night on my bed, and it was in the middle of the day, and I just decided to do breath work. And I was doing breath work for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, and then I like went into like a light sleep. I guess maybe I fell asleep because I didn't remember what happened. I like woke up with my eyes closed and was like, whoa, what time is it? Where am I? But it's like I was almost in a state of like dreaming of nothing. Like I was almost in like this void relaxation state. So you can actually induce relaxation, calmness, and sleepiness just by using your breath. So, because you can induce a response, okay, it's time to calm down, it's time to calm down. How do we create energy in the body through breath? We breathe really rapidly. We do breath work that is more rapid. But if we want to relax the body and tell the body it's time to calm down, we're going to create a very relaxed, long breath. That's going to slow our heart rate down, that's going to slow our brain waves down, and that is going to tell the body that it's okay to relax and that it's safe. So as you can see, they all work together, but you can use your breath to initiate the response that your body has before sleep. So I hope that makes sense. Okay guys, thank you so much for chilling with me. I wanted to send over this link for you. I have one more space. I will probably accept 2 more spaces at most. Anyone who signs up, the next 2 people to sign up for my 30-day mentorship will get my lucid dreaming course and my out-of-body experience course completely free. So if you sign up for the 30-day mentorship or higher, I have a 30-day mentorship, 60-day mentorship, and a 6-month mentorship. The next 2 people to sign up for those 3 options, either of those options, will receive both of my courses completely free for an unlimited time. Unlimited, not limited. So 2 more spaces for that. I also offer single sessions as well. If you just want to chat for an hour and you just want to see what it's about, what I do, how it works, and how we can work together and create some magic together. So that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you liked this video. I'm glad that I got to hang out with you guys today and talk about one of my biggest passions. Please let me know your favorite experiences that you've had during an out-of-body experience, what techniques you like to use during an out-of-body experience, and if you have any cool experiences to share, or if you have any questions that you would like me to answer. I love you guys so much. There will be a new video tomorrow where I'll be talking about how you can actually choose what you dream of at night and how you can actually influence even your regular dreams. So stay tuned for that. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. Bye guys!